This is the Violent Professional Podcast brought to you by AriesClothing.com.
Years.
Yeah.
Sounds like the plot to National Treasure.
Yeah.
No,
it's not. My dad's Nicolas Cage trying to follow in his footsteps. And we're trying to we're trying to steal the Declaration of Independence because there's a map on the back that I can only see with special glasses. We end up finding the gold hidden by the who were they? It was the
Freemasons.
The Freemasons, because the Freemasons were originally the whatever they're called, the Crusaders. All religious nonsense. Yeah, it's plausible. Totally plausible.
Extremely plausible.
So we have that. We could do that, but obviously you're like, oh, I don't want to rob banks or, maybe.
I just don't know how much there really is to talk about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's got a pretty short lifespan as far as, like, once you get there, you're like, okay, well, I'm a specialist at cracking safes. Like, okay, I've seen that in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
We're going to start getting
we use Mini Coopers to transport the money that we soup up.
Obviously, we got to.
That's the Italian job, dickhead. Just a combination of all
I'm pretty
the
sure you guys are
triple
just talking about movies now.
Yeah, we are. I'm just kind of combining movies that I've seen because I don't have an original thought. I'm pretty much
do the book review thing that we were talking about.
I'm pretty much the dude that tried to kill that guy, or the dude we listened to on the last podcast that was the most unsuccessful serial killer that ever lived.
You saw these movies, you can pull it off.
Yeah. I want to live this life.
Well, I can't be a superhero, so I guess I'll just fucking kill people.
Yeah, my bones aren't adamantium, so if I tried it, it doesn't exist, so I tried using mercury or aluminum, and that shit didn't mold to my bones. He was a fucking dipshit. What a moron.
They used to use mercury to cure a lot of ailments.
Yeah, that's true.
Could we come up with, we live on a new society, not an Earth society, just a different society that's completely different.
Yeah, there's no planes and we travel on high-speed trains. Everybody has these eco-friendly homes.
Sure.
I don't know. We could go on a rant. We could be serious. It's up to you.
Probably rant. So
okay.
I think make it a little bit different than what we've been doing.
Okay. What do we want to rant about?
Just get your old Google boxes open up and rant about this fucking person messaging me on fucking Instagram. Shut the fuck up.
All right, rant has begun.
Yeah. I was like, this guy's a dick. I thought he liked talking to us. I'd like to stay away from veteran stuff. It's too easy to fucking get caught up in.
Yeah, all the time, because it's like a thing now. It's like, oh, I was, it's used as this I was this and did that and thank me for my service, and I started this.
Thank me for my service!
Yeah. Where's my free fucking food on Veterans Day at fucking TGI Fridays?
Oh, God. Veterans Day, more like me day.
Yeah. I served too. I'm a military wife.
Hey guys, I'll be back. I gotta go to the DMV and get my GWOT license plate.
Yeah. I gotta get my combat action badge fucking license plate. What are they called? Vanity license plates?
Mm-hmm.
JTAC. Dark Jedi.
We might as well start.
Dork Jedi.
We're already bitching. We might.
Oh, don't you mean they're dork Jedi?
The Force wasn't on your side now, was it? That's not an original joke. That was... I can't remember what his name is. I'll rant on stuff. Is that what
it is, though?
TV.
I mean, none of us are alive post World War II, so we don't know, like those people are largely, regardless of what you went over to do, whether in Pacific or the European theater, you came back a hero, right?
Yeah,
even if you weren't even seeing combat.
Being taken over.
I mean, that's kind of what they do nowadays. Like, everybody trying to make it like that.
Yeah, no, but it's a different time, dude. A third of the world's population was killed off the planet.
I don't know if it was a third, but there was a shitload of people.
Sounds really high.
All right, let me look it up.
I think that was Genghis Khan.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say a
it was
third.
a little different.
But maybe that's it.
Nothing's been as scary as that since then. It's part of the problem.
Nothing's scarier than terrorism.
Well, nothing is threatening to legitimately take over our country. Like
liberals.
Well, no, like world dominance type states that can do that.
Okay, yeah, definitely not a third.
Yeah.
It was 70 to 85 million.
That's
3% of the world's population in 1940, because there was an estimated 2.3 billion people on the planet. 3%. Which still 85
Still a
million
lot.
people is a lot of fucking people in that time span.
You got to think too, though. Those countries that were fighting us and Europe could have changed the landscape of how we live today had they won. It would have been different.
It would have been
And that's why it was such a
extremely
big deal.
difficult to get over the Pacific and over the Atlantic.
Right.
We're pretty safe.
But it's not just that, though.
From-
But imagine if Germany won and Germany controlled all of Europe and was spreading into Africa and Asia, or in the Middle East and all these countries. So if they were taking over all that stuff, they'd have so much control of the world. We would be living a completely different life in the States, even if they didn't manage to get over the Atlantic and get over here to us. It'd be different.
Yeah, that's true.
They'd be the superpower. We'd be, another country.
But
Might be spread too
to
thin.
a certain extent, our fear mongering over the idea of terrorism and all these terrorists are going to come and these radicalized terrorists are going to come over and do these things. It's kind of it makes it hype up the same way as if it's going to take us all over. When the reality is,
It's a control.
No.
thing. It's
We know
use
it's
of-
not.
Use of, fear,
That's-
use of control through.
Well,
fear.
and that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's not a legitimate fear for people. It is in Europe. People are legitimately scared of terrorists.
I mean, but
because they see it
They're
a
right
lot
next.
more
They're
often,
next door to it.
and they're constantly getting attacked. I only know that because I was over there, and there's legit terrorist threats constantly over there.
We were so isolated from that over here, but it's still used as a control and fear thing that it's just perpetuated.
Yeah, like you go to Paris, you can't even just go up on the Eiffel Tower. You got to go through security checkpoints just to get on the Eiffel Tower. You go to Germany, you're going to a Christmas market, you're like, shit, I don't even know if I want to go to a Christmas market. Is someone going to hijack another truck and drive it through a Christmas market? Like, it's things like that over there where they're legitimately scared. Over here, we're like, yeah, I mean, like, nothing really is going on over here terrorist-wise for a long time.
you could say that same thing about World War II. Like, right, they hit Pearl Harbor, but stateside it never really affected it. Besides, it boosted the economy massively because of all the war production. It didn't really.
Mhm.
There was no other physical attacks, right? No different 9/11. You get attack on the soil, and outside of that, we've had sporadic, random, terroristic attacks from radicalized members of Islam, but it's all minor isms,
But
if you will.
Pearl Harbor was an established military attack on the U.S., on U.S. soil, technically, that killed so many military people and civilians too, I'm sure. But so that's like a major thing. Terrorists, it's like little patches here and there, so it's not as big of an effect where they're like,
But-
holy shit, you just attacked us. We got to go to war.
I don't
with you.
disagree with all that, but I'm trying to drive the point. It was like we were talking shit about all these thank me for my service type people. Like what changed, if anything? Because like I said, we weren't here post World War II, but it's pretty well understood that the generation that came back from that war was pretty well received. Were they running around thanking for service, or were they so damn traumatized from what they had to go through that they just wanted to forget it and go on with their life? Where now we have a culture of like everyone's got to put every damn picture they took deployment on their Instagram page so they can get likes and drive kudos to themselves, or use their veteran status
A lot
to
of
prop
humble
their
bragging.
to prop up their fucking
Or just
lack of
straight
humbleness in
outright
life. Like,
bragging.
what is it?
I can tell you, it's a culture shift and it's a
Or-
society shift.
or-
Society changed
or
from that time to
Are
this
we
time.
a microcosm of this process? But because we're in where we're at, we see
Would they have
more
been
of this
acting
stuff.
the same if they had social media?
People had
Oh,
more
shit,
respect
back
for
then.
themselves
Maybe.
back then. No,
But
people
say-
had more respect back then.
Well, we can't rule out the fact that we're in a microcosm because of the circles that we run and the life that we live. That's the stuff that we see the most. And if we actually were to pluck ourselves out of this and dislocate ourselves to a different location, away from this stuff, would we even see it the same way?
Well, think of it this way: most of those people that came back actually went to war and actually did something. They saw war. Most people coming back from war nowadays don't see war. They go and they deploy, but they don't actually see combat. They just come back and they're like in this society where they want to be on social
I'm
media and all
afraid,
these things.
but
and
to a certain extent, I'm afraid because of our backgrounds that we undervalue the process. Because guess what? Like, times change, war changes, the way you do things are going to change. So Yeah, the level of intensity of like, not everyone fought at the Battle of the Battle of the Bulge. Not everybody stormed the beaches of Normandy. Like, it's not everyone had that same experience, but a lot of people still went. Right, the people who went over and worked airfields that turned wrenches on bombers flying out of England were. I highly doubt they were any less well received.
Yeah, they weren't shit on like maintainers or whatever.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying all maintainers or whatever.
Like we do ourselves,
but it's more. You'll see that more. They won't go shit on like people won't talk shit to a special ops dude as much as they will to somebody who's like a cook or something like that.
I mean, most of that shit talking, I feel like, is inner service. It's not done.
Yeah, but because of social media and
I've seen
the
it.
platforms,
Civilians though do that too.
Yeah, because of the platforms that are out there now, we perpetuate that concept to the community, and that's what they start to think because they don't know any different. Mm-hmm. All they know is what they saw on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, YouTube. It is some person exclaiming how this person is less because they didn't choose a job in the military or didn't get to do a job in the military that required you to go shoot at somebody or engage in that type of warfare.
Yeah, and but people in the civilian world are so naive to the fact that there is that. They think everybody is a soldier.
I think I think some are like that, but you see some civilians do that shit too, mm-hmm. like the more in the 3%er type of thing that research maybe a little bit more.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a rarity though, because you got to think. I mean, if you went home as a soldier and you said, "Hey, yeah, I'm in the military," I mean, most people would be like, "Oh my god, like thank you for serving." Yeah. If they're supportive of the military, they're like, "Thank you for serving," blah blah. Even if you were a cook or even if your service,
which most of the time they just do it to make them feel better about themselves.
Yeah,
thanking them for their services.
Like if somebody sees you, you're like, "Oh, bless you." Like it's become that to where it's like,
bless your heart, child.
Like I've been told that, and I was like, well, I volunteered for it, and they could look at you like, I'm thanking you, right? How dare you say so? It's like, fuck you, dude. Like,
thank me for thanking your service.
Yeah. So you're welcome.
See, I think we got too accustomed to that mentality that like anybody owes us any gratitude for the things that we're doing, and it's nice to receive, but not necessary. But then we turn on our own community, and we're like, "Oh, you were a fucking maintainer. You suck. You don't know. You've been in war."
We appreciate the maintainers out there who are listening.
You deployed to the Middle East? Oh, I bet you're in Qatar, or you're in the Air Force, or you're in the Navy, you're on a boat. Like, it's that type of mentality that puts these stigmatisms out there. It's like,
well, everybody does that inner job and career field too.
Yeah, it's okay to be. It's okay to be. We made it. I think we made it this way because we made it the idea that it's okay to be proud of what you did, but only if you did something very warlike.
Well, weren't they doing that back then, though, too?
Yes.
I mean, tankers talking shit against, or infantry talking.
Yeah. It was less publicized is why. Maybe that's why. It was less publicized. They were shitting on
you
each other.
You can push your shit out across the globe now.
Yeah, they were shitting on each other day in, day out. Guaranteed.
So are we just saying that the natural evolution of the things has brought about what was already true through the past?
I mean, there's always the which service is better and all that, and then internally, like, then it goes into, oh, you do this or whatever, or services or maintainers or whatever, and then there's that, and it's always been that way.
Or has the joint environment made it jaded for everyone because of the intermixing of who's working where and doing what at any given time? It drove this concept that people don't really understand what the core functions of each service is. Therefore, they lose sight of what the bigger picture is and what that purpose is. And it's not about purpose driven for a select service. It's about who did this in what province of Afghanistan or Iraq versus what you did in totality.
In all honesty, I don't think it's as bad as it was before. Like, as far as service to service, everybody that we've, at least my perspective, that we've been in a joint environment, at least within our community, is less of this dick swinging contest amongst my peers, not talking up higher anything than anything else. Like, and even within our own branch and our jobs, but there's less of this, like, I'm better than you and you're better than me, and more like, oh, hey, yeah,
but like, only in our respective communities, because I see it all the time when I follow like certain Instagram shit or like that. It's like, well, it's only 11 Bravo. I wasn't special operations or shit like that. Like, why are you diminishing? Why are you diminishing your capability because you weren't something else? You did
still
what
serving your country.
Yeah, I mean, you did what you said you were signed up to do, and not everyone's going to be selected or decide to go that route, and doesn't make your contribution any less valuable than the person who did.
Yeah.
So like, but we don't. We try to, and you see it out of veterans more than you see it out of, I think, active duty type people that are posting that stuff, is that one day we'll be attacking those people because the ill-informed 11 Bravo who just doesn't know quite as much about weaponry says something slightly less educated on Instagram, and it gets just chewed up by the gun community, the shooter community. It's like, oh, shit, I didn't know. I mean, I was 11 Bravo, and then he'll turn around and then that drives that mentality like, well, I was only 11 Bravo, I wasn't special operations. It's like, man, like, you can't cut anybody a break in anything without having to come at them extremely fucking, or you don't cut anyone a break. You always just come at people extremely cynically, and you provide no constructive criticism to improve a mentality, right? It's not about improving a capability.
Mm-hmm.
It's about improving a mentality, because if you have the right mentality, then you'll go improve your capability. But if all you've ever done was you wanted to be that good 11 Bravo, and then you get nothing but shit on by everyone else because you weren't fucking special operations, you weren't Navy SEAL or special forces or some shit, you're not doing any favors for the community, and we're going to keep digging that perpetual hole that we're pushing down people for serving because they weren't something, versus just propping them up for doing what they should have done when they did it.
Mm-hmm. Well, on the flip side, you have people that are like, oh, I'm a special ops, I'm a special operator, whatever. Like, and they're trying to sell something that they're really not. They're just like, oh, I'm at a special operations base, or like Fort Bragg, where everybody's special operations.
Yeah.
It's like, don't church it up, Dirt. Just accept accept what you are and what you do, and be proud of what you are and what you do. Like, that doesn't, like, you don't need to tell me or try and prove to me who you are or what you do or how cool you are. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, to me, it's like, you just accept what you are and what you do and what you contribute. Like, I don't think I'm better than any other person that is, does something else within our service. But just don't come, try and prove to me something that, like, oh, that I've done this or done that. Like, cool, man. Like, I don't
partly
give a shit.
Feeling of inadequacy.
Mm-hmm.
They try to talk more about it or make other people feel like shit because they're not something.
Mm-hmm.
But we've culturally done that to ourselves. We build this concept that if you didn't do that, then you were forced to be taken serious or credible, have to build this, picture of yourself that's shaded with all this bullshit because you are at a certain location or certain base, and you're too ashamed to say, what you actually are, because you're on that location with those same type of people that do that other shit.
Well, are they ashamed, or do they want the notoriety that the other people are getting?
Both.
I feel like it's more notoriety.
They want both.
Than it is shady.
I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Well, we don't do ourselves a favor within our communities going through our pipeline with this once you become this, you're, you do all this cool shit and you're going to be this badass, because most of the kids that go through are young.
There's like that one block.
Yeah.
I'll just bleep that out, but there's that one block where they tell them that you're the most bad motherfucker.
Yeah,
on
the
like
planet.
The whole damn thing.
Yeah,
it's from the beginning.
I sat through part of it because when we go through our selection and stuff like that, and you sit there and you're like, so all these dudes that have been deployed before, and you're like, what are they feeding into these fucking kids' heads?
It's all
man?
brainwashing.
Yeah.
They're like,
It
do you
is.
want to be this? Because if you want to be this, then you're gonna fucking do this, and you're gonna have to be hard.
Well,
You're
I'm
gonna
not
have to
To
be
some
ready
regards,
for
you got to
it.
have
I'm not-
indoctrination
Yeah,
to
I'm
get
not
people in the right mindset.
Yeah, I'd say at a certain extent, to build those types of people, you do have to instill a certain level of mental competence in what you're expected to be.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the truth is, and when you don't learn this until you get there, that most of those people are not.
Yeah, and the guys that need that aren't usually the best operators.
And it's not only that, it's like they go through and they're fed that, and most of the kids,
And they're kids.
yeah, they're kids.
They're kids.
don't have like, because I went through later on, and I was pretty much a grown up by the time I
already jaded at the whole
the whole thing, and you can see through, kind of see through that, but like, you're a early 20s, late teens kid, and you were probably good at shit when you were in high school, and then you excel at this, and then they tell you you're this, going to be the baddest motherfucker walking on the planet, and then that's now ingrained in you, and you'll have most of these kids will come out and have this elitist attitude and this idea that
Isn't that in every fucking career field, though? You see it, like, when my brother went through infantry training, it was like the same thing, because that's the job that's go kill people.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the support side where they're like, the warfighter can't do shit without you.
Without you,
Yeah.
you're the best of the best.
It just might be every fucking community.
No, it is. It's that whole tactic. It's the military tactic of you got to brainwash them to make them work to the best of their ability. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then they're not going to give a shit.
Well, yeah, the reality is if you're going into something like warfare and you didn't think that you're the best at what you're doing, then do you really have a lot of business being there?
Just a subpar warfighter.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not
I'm just
motivated.
okay with this kind of warfare.
Plus, you're not motivated.
Yeah.
You got to motivate them, and it's all about motivating them.
It's not as much about what you do in the process there. It's that there's no leveling out process once you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just naturally get it. Just goes like, oh, okay, I get this. It's like they told me about a 30% truth and 70% bullshit to get me there. Got it. Check. It's all the actions afterwards, because there's no planning out, because far too many people keep on that upward glide slope of bullshit and ego-centric fucking mindset and narcissism.
It gets worse,
and
with
then
experience
they get to the
and shit.
top, and then they get out disgruntled after 8 years, 10 years, and then they shit on everybody else. Nobody knows anything. You didn't know shit.
It's a bad transition process.
Correct.
In the military establishments.
The transition process in no way prepares anybody to not be that person anymore. And I'm not saying there needs to be a process to unbrainwash people or shit like that. Problem is, people get out through flash decisions, right? They get fed up, have a bad leaders, bad supervisors, bad bosses, and they're like, fuck this, I'm out. And they get out, and guess what? You made that quick decision, and you no way had the time to even if you had the program in place, you didn't have the time to do it.
Well, plus the military is a different side of society that you can't experience unless you're in it. And once you're in it, you experience it, and then you see society different once you get out of it.
We're going through TAPS was like, you see all the people that don't prepare either, and they think it's going to be just fine, including myself, like, because I was just confident in my ability for a while. Like, yeah, I had a plan, but it's like transition process was pretty horrible. Like, just generally, it's a bad deal to get out, like, for everybody, I think, and you miss things about it. Mm-hmm. Unless you have a fucking level head, you're going to have issues, like more so than other people. But
I mean, is it their job to prepare you to get out, or is it your job to prepare yourself to get out?
You chose to get out.
It's your life.
So
there's where, like, I can't hold it against the war machine, if you will, that, like, when you choose to make that break, it's kind of on you to ensure that you're prepared to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and first and foremost, there's not a draft. You chose to join the military.
Yeah.
And then you chose to get out of the military.
And it's not like you spent, 4 to 8 years not getting paid. Like, you got paid, you got taken care of. Yeah, maybe you had bad leaders and you didn't get taken care of in that regards, and that's why you're getting out. But nonetheless,
the one frustrating thing is, like, seeing it from the other side is, like, people just think, like, the blanket thing about the VA being, like, this thing that doesn't help people, and then people that have been through it that aren't honest about it because you didn't follow the directions. It's pretty simple. Just follow their fucking directions and they will help you. Mm-hmm. If you fucking don't listen to them, it's they're giving you money or whatever your service is. Yeah, and people don't prepare. They think it might be everything's handled for you while you're in, and then it's just handled your whole life. Like, honestly, vaccines and fucking whatever else they tell you to do, and then you got people that make the decision to not prepare on the way out.
And that's probably another big issue for guys and gals. They get out. They have someone taking care of them. You have a steady paycheck. As long as you don't get in trouble, none of that's changing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you get out, and it's all on you again. Like, you got to go find a job. You have to be proactive. You have to think for yourself. When you had someone telling you what to do every step of the way, that's not happening anymore. That's difficult.
Just create a bullshit t-shirt company.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing in the world.
Life's tough. Get a helmet.
That's not true. Don't go pursue a t-shirt company if you're not prepared to be a business owner. There's a lot of
No, I
idiots
said
out there.
I said you got to be able to think for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't own a company and not think for yourself.
There's some out there that do it.
And fail.
But I mean, that's in search of this camaraderie type mentality is what draws all these people back to these social media pages that have content and concepts that they were familiar with, and it makes them feel comfortable. Yet that's also where we tear people apart nonstop because people are afraid to break away and just be a civilian. And I think it's good to keep that like military side and that idea of camaraderie and like that need for it. But like, if you're so codependent on the need for that type of thing and you can't just transition and be a normal ass civilian, like you got problems and you probably shouldn't have got out. You know?
I think if you served, it's always a part of you. That is part of it. If you served, it's always a part of you. And there's nothing wrong with holding on to some of it.
Correct.
But you can't hold on to all of it.
It can't be a codependency.
Yeah.
Like you can't be dependent on that. Like you still have to be able to survive.
Yeah.
End of the day, nobody takes care of you better than you. And if you can't get out and survive, it's not everybody else's job nor the government's job to fix your problems for you because you made a decision.
Yeah. I can say that, but I can say from experience I've seen so many guys get out and think I'm going to go do something different, and they gravitate back to military or contracting involved with the military. It is the way it is. Almost every guy I know that has gotten out has gravitated back towards the military in some way or another because they miss it. Usually it's because they miss it for the guys I know.
And having a normal job and
Yeah, because they don't like civilian life.
Sitting in
They don't like
fucking
being with
cubicle
them
all day doing a normal 9 to 5 is, you're not doing that for however long weird schedule or whatever it may be, like, and just the mentality of it is not the same.
A buddy of mine just got out like 6 months ago. Was done with. He was like done. He was like, okay, I'm cool. Like I'm done. I did like 6 deployments. I'm burnt out. Like I got to get out. Got out. Went back to doing construction. Was like, man, I fucking hate this. Now he's working for a contracting company. And it's only 6 months being out of the military. Already back working. He just
Construction's a hard.
Yeah,
job.
granted, that's a hard job. He wanted to go back to school and do construction. So, and then he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going back. I'm doing something." So, it's things like that.
Well, I think to a certain extent we get a slightly skewed conception of what happens because of the community we come from. A lot of people gravitate back to that because of the lack of skill set. Like the guy who turned wrenches on a jet doesn't need to come back to that in a lot of cases because there's lots of jobs or there's job opportunities and he has a practical skill set.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? We live in a world where unless you did something else for yourself while you're in and maximized your time, the college education type capabilities, you have a high likelihood of gravitating back because there's a lack of things, or you're scared to just venture out and try something new. And I think a lot of it is you learn how to win for so long, you build a fear of failure, and then you're absolutely horrified at the idea that you might go into the civilian world and fail. And it would bring too much shame on you. So you go back to what you're doing.
And there's the money side of it because it's lucrative as well. I mean, it is there. So you're making peanuts and you're used to making pretty good money. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck this, I'm going back and I'm going to make some good money. It's the other side of it.
The funny thing is, the community we come from that want to scream about being the fucking best shit out there, and then all the other people out there that actually have an applicable skill set can go get a job.
Making a lot of money. Think about an Intel dude.
Yeah.
He can go make bukus of money.
Intel people, the people who work on computers, I mean, within the world we live in now, like there's just, we built this community of codependency of you need this, you get out, what are you going to do? You're going to go start a shooting school. You're gonna fucking
Let's get
start
into
some,
it.
start
Fucking
some,
crush it. The
start
gun
some,
community needs some crush.
start some shirt company where you put every shirt you make has a flag and crossed rifles on it.
Well,
like,
there's a reason though. It's attractive and it attracts a certain type of person, and it's because it's also fun.
I think the gun community could just get crushed right now. Put those fucking punks. They're just fucking. That's probably mostly what's listening to the
Yeah.
fucking podcast. Bunch of egotistical. Fucks.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I've never.
I love you, Ian. If you're listening,
There's lots of good companies that went out there and started programs that train active duty guys, active duty special operation units, but like not most of these guys are going out and they're trying to take that what they believe is a marketable skill and they're taking it to the civilian community.
it's also a saturated ass fucking market. It's like more so than anything, I think. Like
nowadays,
you get, and just like anything, you get too many people in one fucking area, they start fucking puffing their feathers up and fucking talking shit. I don't think it was that bad when like years, like even 10 years ago, there wasn't that many shooting schools or shooting instructors. Like now it's like that's all you fucking see, and everybody's got. I'm teaching this weird technique where I roll on my fucking whatever, and I'm focusing more on movements and fucking whatever instead of actual like fundamentals or some shit.
it's not even just shooting schools anymore where they're like, hey man, like we're gonna actually teach operators, because we're seasoned and we can teach them. Now it's like schools where they're coming in and taking civilians and they're teaching them like, hey, we're gonna put you through a course and you're gonna be like a special operator and you're gonna be badass, and they take them through like a 2-week course and they think they're cool. Like there's courses like that now because it's so into our population because of games like Call of Duty and shit like that, where people are like, oh, I want to fucking do that. And then there's all this airsoft bullshit and all that.
That shit's probably pretty fun.
No, yeah.
I think it would be fun as fuck
Guaranteed.
to play.
Well, no,
not an airsofter. I'm not getting into it, but I think
No, they're getting to
Be a lot
go
of
do
fucking
what we
fun.
do for a job.
yeah,
And we're getting paid to do it, but they're having to pay to go do it. And they're just having a good time. And they don't have to suffer through the bullshit that we have to suffer through.
Yeah, they don't have to write 50-page con ops to
I mean,
to have it canceled.
I mean,
have it canceled.
I would argue that, pretend battling, if you will, is probably one of the oldest child games that existed. I'm sure it existed pre-games with swords and shit like that.
Did you never have BB gun wars?
Me? No.
Oh my
I grew up
God.
in the city.
You never went out with your friends in
Yeah,
the
in the
back of
woods
the
and
woods and just you shoot actual BB guns at each other and hope you don't shoot each other in the
Well,
fucking eye.
It's just, but that's
Rock Wars.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah,
This
rock wars,
childlike
slingshots.
this childlike amusement process where like you played cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians and stuff like that, and then you grow up and you go be in the military and you do that stuff. Well, now we're doing it like it's the adult version of a kid game for like, because every adult needs to defend their Second Amendment right by understanding how to do tactical firearms capabilities, and they need an assault rifle and a pistol, and they need to know how to do their mag
always
changes
thought-
and transitions.
That's
and,
because real world we're all kids with a better plan.
So I think it's funny, like, not to get into like a fucking Second Amendment argument, but most of those shooting schools, like, it's funny to watch because most of them never held a fucking pistol outside of
Oh,
qualification.
they went and grabbed their dad's gun.
And now they've got they're just like yeah, it's like that's what you can have, but then they have the assault rifle. They're all decked out and shit, and it's just some of the most ridiculous training that those dudes never had access to. And then they come out and they start teaching it. You know what I mean? Like it's not even something you have knowledge about other than you watch YouTube or some shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's an issue. That is actually an issue.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
is it a necessary evil?
To what?
I don't know. Is it a necessary evil for society to prepare and defend, prepare to defend themselves in that way?
Well, we're a free
Right.
country, so
Not with nods.
just because we have bad people that could go and learn these tactics, does that mean we should not give the other people that aren't crazy or don't want to
Yeah,
go
but
shoot
I'd
people?
argue most of the bad people within our country, they're not going through tactical shooting schools. They're gangbangers and thugs, and they're
Yeah.
they're doing cliche movie sideways pistol shots and shit like that. Like,
Well, and news doesn't want to cover all these gang violence and all these things that happen in the U.S. They want to cover, oh man, there was a school shooting. That's huge. It brings in all the attention. They're not covering like how many people die in a day and how many gang shootings there were and things like that.
Well,
They're
they
not covering
do in
stuff.
the
this-
property
they do-
values of South Chicago.
maybe locally,
Yeah,
but not
but-
on the news, nationwide news. They're not covering those things.
I don't know.
No,
I can't determine.
That's agenda driven, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just in a environmental, not environmental, in a social construct of from like our circles, like I can't determine if like what we're doing and what this has evolved to is just a necessary evil that we view as we have this weakening,
Speaking like veteran transition shit.
Yeah, like we get this weakening society of yes, people are getting softer. Like you can say whatever you want. Like people, everyone's offended by what everyone says and getting softer. Or the people who.
I don't think that's a majority though. I think it's mostly a fucking small group that's blown up over fucking.
Well, they're doing the same thing that they do with terrorism. They're taking this like small centralized idea and they're using it as a fear mongering tactic to be like, protect yourself from this types of this liberal tyranny that they're trying to take our guns and shit like that. And I think it's really just a microcosm of a certain section or subsection of our society, but it's not the whole thing. But you make a quick buck off it. You can start a school and run that gauntlet and make people believe that shit.
I don't think it's a necessary evil. I think just people are get out. They take advantage of their training, what's going on, right? Which is the fascination with the GWOT era, because what we've been going over there for almost 20 years now. So
God, it's a long fucking
it's so ingrained in our society at this point.
And it's such a small percentage of our society that it's almost an infatuation with it kind of thing, like a romanticized kind of thing, view of that. So what is a dude going to do but, try and take advantage of that idea that a normal person that hasn't gone in the military has.
Plus society's numb to the fact that people are deploying and going to the Middle East. The civilian society is completely numb to it.
And it's just
even the military community is numb to it. We're like, yeah, man, you're gonna go and you're gonna be there and you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
I think it brings me back to that point. I was saying, like, if I could pluck myself away from this environment and put myself somewhere different and only pay attention to the things that are happening in that area, would most of this not exist because I just wouldn't see it and it's not influencing me? And is this only
if you didn't have social media, you wouldn't see it at all.
But see,
you're not going to see this shit.
Even without social media, I was attuned to some of these things. I didn't need social media.
Through media and shit.
Through media,
media,
through your friends, through your circles that you run. Like you just hear that. I'm saying, if you remove yourself from this, if I remove myself from the nearest base, and I put myself somewhere where there's no base around and people just live their day-to-day normal lives.
And you're a pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, I was driving for Domino's. Nah, I wouldn't wear Domino's. I'd look at Little Caesars, Hot and Ready's. And put myself.
God, you're not delivering. Like you're not going to people's houses.
Popping them Hot and Ready's out.
Day in,
day out.
You're a Grubhub delivery guy.
Just delivering McDonald's.
But I would argue
McDonald's and burritos and shit.
I hate my life.
I'd argue I wouldn't see as much of this stuff, and it probably would infect me, which makes most of this rant that we're having right now slightly irrelevant.
But everything about this podcast.
But the reality is, it would be dumb to think that you're going to be able to pull yourself from that pool. Like who you are and the circles you run are probably the circles you run for very specific reasons, and it runs for deeper reasons than you can even understand at times. So, for those who do pull themselves away from it, no big deal, right? The guy who just came in and did his, was a finance guy for
4 years,
whatever, and got away. Like he probably doesn't think about any of this shit ever. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to worry about it.
Guaranteed. How many people do you go to like on a base that work a regular job that you could work in the civilian world that you're like, man, this guy has no idea what the fuck's going on? Because they don't.
And more power to them because they don't get infected with this shit. They don't have to have these conversations.
Yeah,
makes me want to go back and erase everything that I've been.
Have those that machismo attitude that's just ingrained in our career fields.
But that's also
We're
when you get so
hard.
That's also why
you're not harder than I am. I'm fucking harder.
That's why you get so mad at them. You get so mad at them because you're like, why aren't you turned on? Why aren't you fucking like so amped to do your job?
Yeah, that's definitely. I have caught myself just driving on base and just being like, look at those fucking fat pieces of shit.
Fucking piece of shit.
So you can't get away from it. You're always going to just shit talk.
We've made this idea that everyone's got to be a fucking hard dick war daddy. And the reality is like...
I like when you say that.
Hard. I'm freaking hard.
Just the episode title is Hard Dick War Daddy.
Hell
Everybody's
yeah.
like, what the fuck are they? What is this even about? Like, this whole episode. Can't wait to. Then you can have some people that are like, oh, fuck yeah, that's what I am. It must be for me.
Yeah, they must be talking about fucking war stories being fucking hard.
So fucking
I'm
hard.
so fucking hard right now, just circle jerking, talking about fucking war.
Oh, are you a war daddy?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm fucking war hard, dude. Fuck yeah, just like, are you PC? Yeah, I'm out PC fucking, fucking Montana State, dude. Hell yeah, brother.
I don't know. End of the day,
I don't know.
You know, in a-
Nonsense. Love it.
capitalism economy. Like,
I'd probably, if I would have got out, I'd probably be a fucking criminal. So I gotta stay in.
no, you'd be a meth head. You can't be mad about people who get theirs. Like, I can complain all I want about what I find annoying, but the reality is, if you get out and you make some money based off of an idea, even if I think it's stupid, I'm wrong and you're right because you're the one making money and I'm the one sitting here bitching about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because something's annoying doesn't necessarily annoying and you view it as wrong doesn't make it wrong. It's still
Everyone
fucking
has to-
super annoying.
Everyone has their own reality.
Yeah, it's true. It depends on your outlook on life. Like, do you want to be that person or do you not want to be that person?
I'm perfectly content.
Yeah, exactly. Like, does that make you happy? If that makes you happy, fucking go for it, bro. Just because it pisses me off and I fucking hate you.
Dude, I'm
doesn't
out of
mean,
the
like,
loop with all this shit you guys are, the social media shit.
Well, you
I
should get on
love it.
social media.
Fuck
so,
no,
so I can
dude.
tag you and stuff.
Fuck
love-
social media.
No, dude, I'm good.
So I can be like,
Besides
"Dude, did you see
podcasts."
this shit?"
Yeah, hashtag me too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing to
it's
do with
gonna,
this.
I know.
it's gonna sound slightly contradictory, but like you're saying, like if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. But like the reality is, like just because shit makes you happy doesn't mean it's good for everybody else.
Agreed.
As long as it doesn't affect other people.
Yeah, I think therein lies the true essence of the situation. It's fine that makes you happy, but everyone else makes fucking disgusted by it.
That's
Yeah, that's
society.
true.
That's
Yeah.
society in a nutshell.
We can't have the crazy ass fucking conversations that we have in normal fucking society, like about fish people with fucking
Yeah, well, maybe
ear
that's
vaginas.
maybe that's why everybody drifts back, because you want to have those conversations. Everybody looks like, holy fuck,
I don't know. In the
he's
few,
a fucking
in the,
savage.
in the few civilian side that the friends I've met and made that were never military, like I don't find it extraordinarily different. Like a lot of them have like you can have people with the same kind of fucked up, dirty minded mentality that you have too. I think that's an American standard of like we find funny, right? Like if you're in Australia or you're in England, you can call somebody a cunt, and no one's ever offended by it. It's just
That's a lot different than what goes on in like a team room. I've never heard the conversations I've had with fucking the guys I work with than what I've never heard it. Never heard this most fucked up shit. Like it's I've never heard
I
it.
think we just
Probably
take it,
because the normal American doesn't go around killing people like dudes in the team room.
Yeah, we're
Like, that's
we're
not-
jaded. We're
You're not
jaded.
going to work
100%.
9-to-5 job and fucking shooting people.
Yeah.
I think
you
there's
already go
people like us. I think there's people
on
like us
podcasts and
mentality
shit.
wise, but we take it to an extreme because that comfort level exists within the environment we work at.
That's true. It's a brotherhood.
And if you just
as well.
and then you go to a lot of normal ass people in normal society and turn that dial back 10%, and you'll find a lot of them are like you anyways, and they share a lot of the same.
I only got one. Speed,
I have
dude.
not witnessed it. I have not witnessed that once.
I have civilian friends that were never in the military that we
You don't
joke.
have friends. Come on.
we joke and we laugh about the same things and we say the same kind of cruel dark jokes. It is not quite to the level that I would be comfortable with using with you guys.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have a line and we don't.
You know, it's like the difference is like
You just keep
I'll,
going.
Yeah.
I'll tell one of you like
Governor's off.
I fucked your mom. You know, I'll use that type of
Yeah,
joke.
leave my mom
but,
out of this.
But like, or I'll tell that to some of my civilian buddies. We'll laugh about it. But I'll tell one of you guys like I murdered your mom and then fucked her corpse, and we would laugh about it.
Well, that's
but
what
that's
we're
got
saying.
a really dark, twisted
That's-
side
that's
to it.
messed
But
up.
it has the same core elements. Like,
But that's what we're getting at, though. There's a pretty big fucking line in between those two things, where a guy would be like, "Wait, what the fuck did you just say?" And
Wait,
then,
I got a question. Did you guys want me to record this?
I don't
This whole-
care.
I'm just joking. It's a waste of time.
We're just bullshit.
we're just four assholes sitting around with headsets on talking to microphones.
Totally natural.
yeah for no reason.
The
Practice
robot in the center
sesh.
of the table. That's like the drone we put on a different planet.
Someone's actually recording this somewhere because they hacked you.
That's all right. I got nothing to hide. You want to look at my browser history? That's okay.
I've seen it.
It's mostly Latina maids that have nothing to do with Latinas.
Just sucking dicks.
You forgot to
And
add
a bunch of
Yeah, you forgot to add the
male Latina maids.
male Latina maids.
Male
Latino
Latina
maids.
Sucking dicks.
They're not doing any sort of housework. It's like super frustrating.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
talking
just fuck
about
them.
Mole for Holies.
I actually wanted a maid to come. I wanted you to clean my fucking apartment.
Yeah.
Fuck. I guess I'll take the blowjob. Fuck it.
This is a very eclectic type of podcast we're doing.
we went from talking serious to your browser history and all the weird porn that you have.
So what
It's not
else
weird.
is
It's pretty vanilla, actually.
girl on girl, guy on guy?
Your standard
I like to mix it up.
missionary position, only looking in each other's eyes, breathing in each
Yeah.
other's mouth.
You always gotta. If you haven't done it before, you got to. You gotta try it.
Like
You gotta
close
just-
mouths, like
like
your
heavy-
mouths are almost touching, but you're just breathing into each
I
other's
go back to the
mouths.
whole mud skipper thing. Like they're fighting. Open mouth breathing heavy.
Number one search is Christian mating.
Yeah.
Christian mating.
I'm like a good comparison to me is like MacGruber. Like I'm just the loudest one in the room.
I'm gonna go. What does he say?
I'm gonna shoot.
I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot.
I'm gonna shoot too.
Stop talking. Yeah, don't judge me. I'm loud.
MacGruber.
Start screaming. Just be
Highly
really just be quiet, and you're just quiet. She's like, oh, I'm just like it's so sweet, and then you just scream in her fucking
Yeah.
face.
Highly underrated movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh.
super fucking awesome.
If you haven't watched it, you must watch this movie.
Fucking Val Kilmer's in it.
Yeah, dude. It's a fucking awesome movie.
It's like the serial killer you guys were talking about. It's like a guy trying to be an action hero that just can't be an action
Yeah, he's
hero.
a loser.
Straight up. No, he was starting tight end for University of Texas El Paso. Okay, he wasn't a loser.
Hall of Famer.
Well, we can go on the subject of why do you think social media changed it, like easier access to it, or like
It's like a fucking neighborhood where your fucking nosy ass neighbors just won't mind their own fucking business. It's like it's an apartment complex, a digital apartment complex that people are all up in your shit.
Yeah.
You're like, I hope my fucking neighbors like my potted plants out there, and then they just fucking knock them over and like take a shit.
I wonder how many likes I got from this picture I took of this food.
They leave a note on your fucking door.
Yeah, it's like Cindy Ann talking shit about Ruth down the road, except they can put it on the fucking internet.
Yeah, but
Everyone
they're
can see it
passive
now.
aggressive about it, and they don't use names. They just are just.
This
say-
person
and then
I know,
some-
she has the shittiest potted
I
plants
mean,
I've ever
like-
seen.
And
I mean, why would you put potted plants on
Everyone-
an east-facing window and like
Everyone come and look at this and comment on it too.
yeah, and then one of your friends think you're talking about them, and they're like, "What the fuck, Alice?"
I went to brunch the other day and the
No,
quiche
seriously,
tastes
everybody
like
but
shit.
you. Everybody but you is stupid.
Yeah. Everybody knows I'm right about my ficus.
I wasn't talking about you, Cindy Ann.
I don't know. It's this weird mix of like the idea that we want to be close to people without having to be close to them. So we share our information. But at the same time, it has turned into you're doing that, plus you're looking for validation of what you're doing.
Digital intercourse.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, what is Facebook? Facebook is a place for people
fucking
to
horrible.
share their opinions and either get validated in
Ostracized.
the opinion that they're sharing or ostracized for the opinion they're sharing. Instagram is just the picture version of that.
Yeah,
Insta photo.
and all of it's including like faking their life. They try to make their life look amazing and
Not
happy
me.
and
Not
all.
me. If you ever see what I post,
Well, not
I
you.
fucking shit on myself all the time.
Well, but the majority,
Not you look horrible.
the majority,
All the
especially
time.
women, want to make their life look like, oh, I'm amazing, and this is how my life looks, but it's not really that
I mean,
way in reality.
Just woke up. # no filter.
As
yeah.
they're taking a shot of their fucking box from behind.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like that
Or
concept.
they're-
Like, I want to take a picture of my kid and put it on social media because I want people to see my beautiful child, right? And that's fine. You can love your kid and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, you want people to say how beautiful your child is, which that's the part I don't get. Like, why would anyone ever need
That validation.
like, because their opinion does not matter.
Yeah.
Not in the least.
Mostly random people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like if it was it was just your immediate family.
Exactly.
Nobody would ever know the difference, but it's not. It's your immediate family plus 5,000 people else that you've met along the way, or know through another person, or know through another person who knows through another person, and it becomes this massive, fucked up, narcissistic orgy of words that add no real value to life except for how you feel in that instant that you post it, and then the moment you get a comment on the thing that you posted.
See, and
that's why I make a practice to tell everybody that their kids are ugly as fuck. Every post.
Your kid looks like a fucking
It's
gremlin.
because it
you
releases
little
that in whatever
endorphins
in your brain, and
Yeah.
all this is scientific bullshit, and that's why I don't do it, dude. I don't
But that's
need
where
anybody
social media
telling
could
me
be so
anything.
great.
Fuck
It could be
dude.
so great because you can connect with your family and your closest friends.
If people want to connect with me, they can fucking call me. I could give two fucking shit.
Well, I think that's how Facebook was, because you could control it. You had to like look them up in the past, but now anybody can look at your shit.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't have to make it that way. But that's why I don't have social media either, just like you don't.
Mhm.
And I just am like, hey, email me pictures. I tell my family, like, hey, legitimately. I'm like, email
Now
me
that's
pictures.
like calling somebody on the rotary phone.
I know it's fucked up, but I'm like, hey man, email me pictures. I want to see my nieces and nephews. I want to see you guys and your family. Or I still get Christmas cards and I still put them on my fucking refrigerator,
Or
like a
text.
old
Text
school,
photos,
or
probably.
text.
Yeah,
I mean,
text photos.
I don't need to spread it out to the whole world. I have zero social media, and I like it. I like it that way. It's been 8 years in the running.
Yeah, the
Plus-
last social media I had was Myspace. Remember that
MySpace,
shit?
dude.
Yeah, dude, I had.
Make,
you could get
make
like they
Tom
get-
great again, man.
Yeah, dude. You could go on your page and you had fucking music playing, but then it started to get to that like, why am I not in your fucking top 8, dude? And like,
So it all started there.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks Tom's great.
Yeah.
But he started the whole fucking thing.
Oh.
Just this narcissistic bullshit.
Tom's the equivalent of walking by and throwing a hand grenade in a room and just keep walking. Like, haha, I got you, motherfucker.
He got away.
Watch this.
He got away clean though. He made millions.
how
on
come you're
Facebook, but-
and like a girlfriend being like, how come you're friends with all these girls? It's like,
Exactly.
oh my god, dude. Like, then as soon as that first thing that had happened, like it was like, who's so and so? It was
Done.
like fucking delete page. Nope, not doing it.
Bring back MySpace. No, we don't need that shit either.
No.
No, dude. Bring back fucking dial-up internet.
AOL Instant Messenger.
AOL. Remember that shit? AOL Messenger? That's how...
The 30-minute discs
Yeah.
you get in the fucking mail.
Yeah. Get off the internet. I need to use
Just-
the phone.
Just so you could chat in a room with some dude that's pretending to be a chick.
Yeah.
You just only
You're
have
jerking off to text.
you don't have a phone or anything. You just have AOL Instant Messenger. Hey, I'll be online at 3 p.m. You can message me then.
Yeah. Your mom's getting pissed because she needs to make a phone call or something. And you're like, I'm on the internet.
I'm trying to play The Sims, Mom.
Yeah, that's right. You couldn't make calls and fucking do
Unless you
internet
had
unless
it
two lines or
yeah,
some shit.
2
phone
lines.
line.
I don't know. I guess the question we have to ask, maybe it's just too early to tell, and it needs far more time, is like,
What's the point?
has the social media age made us a better, like, we right now will tell you, oh, we're all dumber, you know, we're all dumber and more like,
No, I don't
shit like
think-
that. Like, I
yeah.
don't really think that's the case. Like, if you go read any history book, go read Plato, go read Socrates, go read all their shit, and you'll see where they bitch about the society below them and how they're becoming arrogant and fucking self-righteous and all these things. Like, this kind of concept has existed through time. And
I think it just fucks with social dynamics.
yeah,
It's
so like
really
I think you know, 50 years from now when we look back, like what social media was, is like it did change society in this extremely annoying now, but it hasn't been ruled that it wasn't better for us, nor going to improve that it's worse. Like the problem is we look at through that lens of like somebody comes into a conversation half cocked with bad information, even though on that same device they choose to post with, all the information known to man exists on it. You could have looked it up and informed yourself before you made that half-cocked fucking thing and came across as a, you know, somewhat intelligible human being.
Well, that's because we've developed with our like intelligence as far as everything goes, but we haven't developed emotionally. Emotionally, we haven't really changed much. Emotionally, we're still the same.
Well, I'd say that emotional string is shortened.
Oh,
Hence why everyone's offended by everything, because what it's done is my emotions now I can I can have a micro emotional outburst over something as silly as something got put on social media.
Well, because there's no consequence.
Because there's no consequence.
There's no consequence.
So it's easier to do. Also, I can do it by myself.
Back in the day, that consequence
Yes.
could have been you're going to get your head chopped off. You know,
A duel
the
in
next
the
day.
street.
Even 20 years ago, if I wanted to have an emotional outburst at another person about something they said, I had to go to their face to do it, or I had to write a letter in long form. Like nobody's doing that shit.
And if I'm going to say this to someone's
Quill.
face, they might punch me in the face.
Quill,
Now
cursive.
they're not going to punch you in the face. You can say
You
what
get
the fuck
tired
you
by
want.
the end of that. You don't want to fucking talk shit to somebody after long form quill calligraphy.
Yeah.
Oh, I ran out of ink. Oh, I gotta get more ink.
And then you read it to yourself just before you
So-
before you
I'm
want to
so
send
dumb.
it. You can't delete it. Like, oh, that's a shitty. You got to be like, oh, crumple
I
it
gotta
up. and
start this over.
To whom it
That
may
just
concern.
goes into that realm though. Like, is it better for us as a society that we're giving ourselves this opportunity to have our emotional outbursts silently to ourselves behind our phones, making us less palpable to the public, or has it just made us more secluded?
Yeah, keyboard warrior.
Because there's no difference in everyone reading their news and feeds now sitting on their phone than there was
The newspaper.
60 years ago when everyone was buried faced in magazines and newspapers. Like it's the
fat.
same shit.
It's faster.
You're just getting more information faster in mass amount. Like you could argue that people are less informed on certain things because they only get snippets of shit and they don't have to go do the whole fucking history on something. They can just get 20 seconds information and feel like they know everything they need to know about that topic. But
I feel like it's actually better now because you only had so few news sources back then that you're only getting the information that is getting pumped into those news sources. Now you can get a little more information.
Yeah, just research through
Widespread.
Encyclopedia
And
Britannica.
figure out what's actually somewhat accurate, possibly, but even most of it's still skewed in some way.
Go to a library and look for a book specifically.
I need Britannica Volume 1
Using
to
the Dewey
Alpha.
Decimal
the
System.
Dewey Decimal System.
the only people that go to libraries anymore are hobos that beat off in the fucking back corner.
I don't think that's
100.
accurate.
No,
I think that's a
no.
bad. I don't. That would be on the news if that was like
That-
the just happening. It's
Maybe
like,
not beating off in the
they get rid
bathrooms.
of all they get rid of crack houses. They get
But-
rid of fucking libraries.
Well, I'll say this.
Yeah.
Libraries are overrun with hobos because they go there to use the free internet. And it pisses me off because I want to take my kids to the library.
because
to
you
go.
want to do that.
Exactly. But no, anyway, I want to
They
go.
actually have internet cafes at libraries?
No, they have free internet there, and you want to go like get books, but you can't go there and get books because there's always fucking hobos on the fucking computers. And this is where we're at, and it's just like
Talking shit to other hobos
motherfucker.
Yeah.
about how much fucking like shitty sweatpants they're wearing or some shit.
Yeah, they're looking at their hobo Instagram
Yeah,
and
just
they're like,
just hard dicks pressing
Yeah.
through their fucking sweatpants. You're like, God damn it!
Just hard
on
all
their
the time.
on their AOL Instant Messenger talking to their other hobo friends.
they have their
How's the
own-
weather in Cleveland?
I'm trying to get Winnie the Pooh and his special adventure, and you over here with a hard on your fucking sweatpants. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, looking at Pornhub
story?
on
Is
the
this, like,
computer
true
in the
story?
fucking
All right,
library.
I've never seen a hard on, but I've seen lots of hobos every time I go to the library. That's why I choose to go to the library on base. It's just airmen with hard ons inside of
Homeless
their,
veterans.
you know.
I just imagine just some fucking grimy ass dude with his fucking gross fingers on the computer, like, let's look
If you want to
this
see
up.
it,
Looking at porn just
Yeah.
in the public library.
if you want to see it, go to the downtown area next to the beach that I'm not going to say by name, and you will see that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not awesome, but it is.
They're hanging out outside.
Hey, you know
of it,
what? At
and
least they're trying to
inside of it.
educate themselves while
Yeah.
still being homeless. Maybe they're checking their LinkedIn account to see if they got if they got any job offers.
They should track that. It's like, how do I make meth? How do I like fucking make?
I mean, if they probably
wine.
know how to make toilet wine and meth, they probably maybe you're finding out a new recipe for jankum or something like that.
What can I eat to make my jankum even better? If you don't know what jankum is, it's when you shit into a bag and let it
It's
sit
shit and
in the
piss.
sun,
Let
and
it
then you
ferment.
huff in the
Poo
vapors from the poo poo.
Yeah, the pee and poo poo vapors.
See, now you
Go
just
on
gave
a-
people ideas on how to get high.
Go to a fucking
Please
This
don't
podcast
do-
is totally detrimental. We try to do something right.
Please don't do Jenkum.
Go on-
because then you'll be a hobo.
go on a fucking vision quest, man. Just like that South Park episode where they're sniffing cat piss, isn't that? I think that's a thing too.
Yeah.
Oh, licking
Definitely.
frogs. There's all kinds of ways to get high. Just pick the good ways, not the bad ways.
This fucking episode's all over the place. So
I-
fucking...
I love it.
You
dude.
said it was a bitch fest. We're just
Oh, it is, yeah. I just like to comment on it. That's my input. I just go,
Yeah, we
you guys
start-
are fucking weird.
We started off all
We pretty much
serious.
said
Now we're
put-
talking about hobos and libraries going on vision quests and making jankum.
we pretty much said, put the headphones on and let's talk about shit.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I think we burn out the social media thing. It sucks.
All right,
In
how do we get
summation,
how do we
social
get rid
media
of
sucks.
hobos in America?
I think that's the real problem that we have to discuss is hobos and libraries that are fucking got boners creating jankum. And
Yeah, they're a
Hobos
problem.
and libraries.
They're a real
It's
problem.
a problem we need to fix.
I mean, you know, my favorite pastime is pulling up to a hobo on the side of the road, handing him a pizza box, telling him there's a pizza in it, and
There's
you know what?
dick
There's
inside
shit in it.
That's not true story.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah.
You're pooping
He's
in
hungry.
a pizza box.
I
That's gonna
didn't
eat
actually.
Don't
I'm
you
not
know
gonna
that?
say I actually did that.
every panhandler on the side of the road is a homeless vet. That fell on
Notice
hard
that,
times.
yeah.
Well, their sign says that. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's true.
Fell on hard times and they need some change. Got any change?
Can I have a quarter?
And they got their dog with
You're
them.
making fun of homeless people. What is this?
Because they're pieces of shit.
Probably drug addicts doing jankum.
I have no sympathy for homeless people.
Some people choose to be homeless because you have no
I
responsibility.
have-
I was talking today in depth about how I want to fucking sell my house and get a van. and
We did
just
talk about
not
that. We
live in
talked
a
about
house.
having
Well,
having
that's
a
not-
trailer.
Your
not
van is your
homeless.
home.
How is that not homeless?
Okay.
Your
Because-
van is a
That's not-
home.
Well, because where we are, we have the whole community.
I'm talking about
right?
low income.
Like living on the
In
streets
streets.
and have
No,
to live
yeah, like you have nowhere to go
Not
at
that
night.
you chose to go live in a van down by the river like
Yeah.
a fucking weirdo.
That's different. That's
Why is
different.
it doesn't have to be near a river.
It's not. What
Yeah.
kind of?
It
It could be anywhere.
by a
The
lake.
world is my oyster. at that
Yeah.
point.
Well, hang on. I just want to know. But what kind of van you can get?
I don't know. One of those fucking E350 big bitches and put a fucking bed in there
The
for my
Fords?
dog and shit.
The Fords?
The what?
The
Yeah,
Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's better than the Mercedes. It's way cheaper, and it's the same damn difference.
And then you can travel around to all the different other camp communities where they just all have giant orgies. Their old naked bodies.
See, that
running
could be an
around.
episode that we do where we talk about the possibilities of the fucking RV camps.
Yeah,
you
the
can just go.
Like
fuck-
all the
the
debauchery
RV
that happens.
camp conspiracies.
You can go to these old RV camps like Quartzite, and you can just go fuck all these old dudes' wives while they watch. They're
Is
just
that
like
a thing that happens?
they're
there?
just.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, we guarantee.
Just a circle.
That's the go-in conversation. We're like, they must have orgies here. What else do they do for fun?
It's
They
like-
must just all be fucking each
It's
other.
like that scene from Boogie Nights where that dude's wife is getting banged out in a
Oh.
circle by all the
Oh,
dudes,
yeah.
except it's old people.
Oh yeah. So you're
Their
just
tits are rolled out onto the ground.
You're
on their
pounding this old wrinkly bitch out, and you're like, I don't care. Pussy's pussy. And this old dude's just like jerking off in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Play with their tits.
Play with them pancakes.
I
Yeah.
remember when those were firm.
Fucking gross. Just
So
all the
that's van
old-
life. If you want to live van life,
I don't have to live that. I could live on the opposite side of the road.
so go down to Mexico.
But then they all join you. There's no getting away from it.
The
You
Canadians.
start something new and
They're
all
like,
the
oh, he
fucking
must
people wanna-
know
well,
something
that's not
about
a new
that
thing. That's a
spot.
big thing
That
right
piece
now.
of dirt's better than this piece of
That's a
dirt.
big thing right now. Living in vans. That's pretty big. And overland trucking is huge. You know how many trucks I've seen that are overland, and they have those pop-up tents on their fucking racks on their back of their trucks, and I'm like, how often do you go camping? Like, bullshit.
cool.
Why would you keep your tent on your truck full time? Like, you go camping like every single weekend, or
They must know something we don't.
yeah, or
I'm
maybe
just
they're
kinda
re-
like diving into it.
maybe
Like,
they're
that
ready
looks
for
cool
the
as
apocalypse.
shit.
Maybe they're ready for the apocalypse.
Maybe.
Or maybe they want to show everybody their fucking $5,000 tent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm all down for the living in a van because no rent. You pay for a campground maybe every
Unless
once
you
in a while.
are doing payments on a van or some shit.
Well, yeah, but
That's like
still,
rent.
eventually your van gets paid off, and now you're living rent free. Hey,
That's
man, you're
true.
fucking set up, and you're fucking banking.
That's a cool idea.
I like the van idea. I'm not skewing that one. All about it.
I'm just trying to run away from my life.
if you looked at my YouTube feed,
travel around.
I watch van feeds constantly. I'm like, van build-outs. I want to see these van build-outs. Dude, the van build-outs are fucking sweet.
Yeah.
I'm sure you look at them too, because if you want to build one.
I haven't looked at YouTube videos, but I was looking at Instagram, stuff like that. It's super cool. Seems like it costs a lot of money to set it all up, though.
Well, if you're going to go with the Ford van's the cheapest that you could do for the high-rise.
Sprinter vans.
Yeah, the Sprinter, the high-rise, because Mercedes are fucking insane. You're going to spend like, well, I don't know, like 120 grand or something stupid.
All right, what's else? You got anything else? We're going to close it? Everybody looks tired?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna close it. We gotta get up early.
The jumpers.
I'm tired of hearing the
Jump,
fucking voice in my ear.